And it's going to say go live, and it says we are live. Welcome to another Friday edition of Pinpoint Coaching with the lovely Krista Thag over here today. Actually, she's over there if you pay attention. And I could be backwards, so we'll just say welcome to Krista. Today, we are definitely going to have some fun because last week we talked about how to utilize a masterclass to get in front of other audiences and to increase the profitability by building brand awareness and getting a way to draw connection with an audience that you may not have yet. So today we're going to dive in a little bit deeper about the mechanics of how to run a masterclass that we have proven to see very effective. Now, granted, there's a million and two different styles out there. Everybody's going to have to find a style that they're comfortable with, a presentation style that they're comfortable with, a platform that they like to use, whether it be StreamYard like we're using today or Zoom, which we often use for masterclasses. Everybody has their different perks, things that resonate and don't resonate. But here's the kicker. It doesn't matter what resonates with you. What matters is, can you take your audience through a transformative journey to where they need to be to get the result that they paid you for? Okay? A masterclass is not a webinar. A masterclass is not a live event. It is a master class. It's not meaning I'm the best at being classy, because I ain't. It's about learning. It's about teaching somebody that will actually impact their life in a positive way. Now, granted, we teach people how to do business better, how to do affiliate marketing, how to create their own products, how to put it into the marketplace, how to grow your email list, connect with your audience, make more money, blah, 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 blah. There's so many things that we do, and it's all centered around business. But the fun thing is we do that from a perspective of, as people, how do we connect with our audience in a way that helps them to advance towards their goals, not ours. And the interesting thing is when we are focused on helping someone else achieve their goals, it's been said by time and time again by the greats of old, if you want to achieve success in your life, if you want to have wealth in your life, if you want to have a loving relationship, all you have to do is dedicate your life to helping other people achieve what it is that you want in your life, and it will come. It's almost inevitable. But you've got to help other people get the thing that you want in your own life. Because you know what? You can't give what you don't have.
That is true.
I can't give somebody a drink of water unless I have water. So even if I'm thirsty, if I find other people who are thirsty and I focus on making sure that they're no longer thirsty, I'm going to have water. So find a way to get people what they need, and you'll inevitably end up with what you need and want. So Krista has had this wonderful blessing and opportunity to attend various different masterclasses over the last year or so. She has had the blessing and opportunity to deliver various different calibers of masterclass over the last year. She's struck out and she's done her own. She's co-done them.
Yep.
She's tried to just show up and be part of one that somebody else is doing. She's tried to be the assistant to somebody who's doing a master class. She's seen a lot of different aspects and a lot of different things. So, Krista, I want to ask, why don't you share a little bit of your perspective, things that you've seen, and we'll start by, what are some things that you've seen that really resonated with you, that really connected with you?
Wow. Okay. So I guess I kind of want to front this whole thing by saying I was never a person that would attend master classes or anything like that because I never understood like how impactful they could be. But when I really got into it and seeing all those angles that were disgusting, sorry, words.
Disgusting.
I'm getting a bit of an echo. That's why I'm like hearing myself. That being said, some of the things that have really impacted me, I think we're saying in a positive way, were classes where the teacher was so focused on the people and serving that it didn't feel like a class, if that makes sense. Like if it was an immersive experience.
Mm. Okay.
I think that's always my favorite feature. Um, is when, however the person is presenting, there's, I don't want to say this. There's connectivity. Like I'm not just here, I'm engaged, I'm part of the class.
Mm-hmm.
And I have to say, having been to many of Chad's master classes, he does this very well. And I have to say, being in other courses or master classes, you know, I can tell where I've been spoiled. And like where there are things as a presenter myself, I can say, ooh, I like that, or ooh, maybe I wouldn't do things that way.
Can you give me an example of some situations that like you wouldn't do, like made you feel uncomfortable, or things you wouldn't do, like as a recipient, someone who attended those master classes? What are some things that made you just go, ugh, ouch?
Yeah. So I think the biggest thing that like really was cringy would be like having a presenter tell me how much value they're going to provide throughout the master class and keep telling me over and over again how much value, but not having that followed up
Mm-hmm.
with any actual value, whether it's information that's useful in my journey or things I can act on like immediately to see a change.
Okay. So one of the things that I like to think about is in regards to that specifically is like when I'm running a master class, I look at it like I'm running a high-end restaurant, right? You guys showed up because you expect top tier. You expect the best. And you're willing to pay for the best because you value what you have, and more importantly, you value you, and you're honoring me with your presence at my restaurant. My goal is to serve you exactly what you need to have a fully satisfied life and walk away going, that was freaking awesome. That's what I want you to walk away feeling like. That was, oh man, the steak it just, so amazing, right? That's what I want them to feel. But do you ever think about how they get their meal in a high-end restaurant? Do you have a waiter come out to your table and be like, dude, you have got to get the panini. It's the best sandwich. No, seriously. It is going to be so mouth-watering, amazing. You're going to, I mean, I know you already want it, but let me just tell you how amazing this sandwich is. Because if you have the sandwich, I mean, there's a lot of people behind you, and they're all going to want this sandwich. But I want to make sure you don't miss out because it is so good. At this point, you're hungry, and you're like, dude, shut up. And you're going to go over, and you're going to go to a different panini store and buy your sandwich. Do you know why? Because you go over there, and you're going to show up, and you're going to look over the counter, and they're going to look at you and say, what can I get you? How can I serve you today? Guess what? They already know you want a panini. They're just listening and says, what specifically do you need in that panini? Because I want to serve you the best that we've got. And then they're going to send the order back, and the chef's going to come out, and he's going to deliver it to it, and they're going to package it up, and they're going to give it to you and be like, man, enjoy your meal. And you'll be like, thank you so much. That was the best, not panini, service ever. They should have everything that they went there for and walk away feeling they got better service than any place they've ever gone before. They should feel like they're the only person in the world and you are there for them to solve their problem, move them forward, enlighten them, whatever it is they came there for. Whether it be learn how to increase traffic to your offers, or whether it's how to better relate to your spouse or how to better care for your dog. It doesn't matter. If they come for a master class on how to keep your dog from barking, don't spend 45 minutes out of an hour telling them how good you are at teaching people how to keep their dog from barking. Guess what? They already showed up for that. That's what they're looking to have done. It's not a sales pitch. It's not a sales fest. You're there to serve them, so show up, take their order, and give them what they need. And here's the kicker. Do you think I'm going back to the first panini shop or the second one?
Probably the second one.
The second one, because that's where I got what I needed fulfilled. And I have been to countless places who tell me how amazing their food is. And you're like, all right, fine. Can I please just have the entree? And they're like, oh yeah, well, you don't have to be rude about it. They get snotty when you're like, dude, seriously, can you just give me what I came for? And then you pay a premium and you get the meal and it's overcooked and cold and it tastes like crap. You can't even finish it, which means you just paid for a premium and then you walk out the door hungry with a bad attitude because they treated you badly. You will never go back there again. Masterclasses shouldn't be done that way.
That's a good comparison.
Right? As a masterclass, people are coming there to get fed. They're there to solve a problem. And you are the solution. Give them the dang solution. Okay? A masterclass is not a full weekend event. You're there to solve one problem.
But that brings up two things, actually. I think there's a lot of confusion with master classes for a lot of people because they're like, I have to provide so many solutions to whatever the problem is versus that focusing on one specific problem. Can you speak to that a little bit?
Okay, so we want to position ourselves as an expert when we train, right? We want them to know, and here's a kicker. Let me just throw this out there. Stop trying to position yourself as an expert if you're not an expert. You don't have to be an expert to lead people into a better tomorrow. You just have to be knowledgeable in an area that they're not. So stop trying to pretend that you're something you're not, thinking that's the only way that you're going to be able to lead you. There are a million people on the bottom rung, and you know what? They're not going to reach out for help for the person on the top rung. They're going to ask the person on the second rung because that's where they can reach. Okay? So I just wanted to throw that out there real quick. Stop trying to be something that you're not, thinking that's going to make you a sale. People aren't looking to buy from the smartest person out there. They're ready to pay the person who can get them to the next rung.
Yeah, I feel like the word expert is really thrown around very flippantly, I want to say, to the point where it's almost lost its esteem.
Yeah, I'm going to break my own rule. Right now, I'm going to break my own personal rule. I am an expert in what I do. I do it exceptionally. And I do it better than most anybody that I know. And I know a lot of people. But you will seldom, ever, ever hear me refer to myself as an expert. Hey, I'm just a guy who learned a bunch of stuff, man. I spent years going through the gauntlet, getting the tar beat out of me by business, to learn amazing lessons. And now I'm the old guy in the middle of the Coliseum with a smile on my face, kicking the crap out of the competition. Why? Because I learned the lessons. Not because I'm smarter than anybody else in the room. I've just spent more time implementing the things that worked. And because of that, it's easy for me to show the new guy in the Coliseum how to defend himself against the things that could kill him, or his business, per se, and show him the things that will keep him surviving, keep him moving forward. You know, I'm no expert as far as my viewpoint of myself. I just know a lot of stuff that can help a lot of people. And certain people, there's a ton of stuff that I can really help them with. But I'm completely ignorant in other things. Now, that's my personal joke. I don't know what they are, but if I figure out what they are, I'll figure out how to do that too. You know, but no, there's a lot of things that I don't know how to do well. We were just joking about this on a networking event just before this call. I was like, you know, I got to admit, Krista, I'm a terrible welder. I can't weld metal for nothing, you know. But we have to stop trying to pretend that we're something that we're not and start thinking about who can I serve with what I do have And this right here, this will address anybody who has a problem with imposter syndrome. Imposter syndrome has nothing to do with believing that you can do something. Imposter syndrome is based on a disbelief that what you have achieved already is rightfully yours. The success that you've already achieved was done by your own merits and done with integrity and honesty. So here's the thing. Don't try and pretend to be something you're not. Show up as you are and ask yourself, not how can I get people to pay me for this, but say, who can I serve with what I actually have? And you'll never have to worry about feeling like an imposter. And the easiest way to do that is start helping with things one thing at a time. One thing at a time. And you'll see that in life. If a friend of yours comes to you and they've got a problem and you help them solve it real quick, man, I just cannot seem to get my car started. You know, and you go over there and you're like, oh, hey, it looks like you got a little bit of corrosion on the battery. Well, congratulations to you. You are now the first person that they will call every single time there is something wrong with their car. Even if the only thing you knew is don't let your battery get corroded. Why? Because they learned that they trust you because you helped them last time. You want to create a massive following of raving fans? Stop trying to solve all of their problems. Solve one problem that most of them have. And they will constantly come back to you and let you know what they need. And when they do, find the solution and help them with it. It's that simple. It's not complicated. You don't have to be everything to all people. You got to be the right thing to the one that needs you right now. The right thing at the right time, the right thing at the right time with the right person will always get you the right result. The right thing at the wrong time with the right person will be the last time you serve them. And the cool thing, right time, right person, right thing, right result will result in a lot more rights because they'll keep coming back because they trust you to get them a result. How long does a masterclass have to be? 5 minutes? 45 minutes? 2 hours? Yes. You're there to help them master the problem they have and do it with class. Right? It doesn't have to be long. It has to be a result-driven class. Because then they will trust you to teach them again and again and again and again until you stop getting them a result. And then it's done. You're going to have to work 10 times as hard to get them back again after you teach them something that doesn't work. Because now you got to start back at square one with mistrust. Right? So to address some people try and teach so many things, there's a reason for that. Because their only sole goal is to make you so confused and overwhelmed that you're going to need to buy their high-ticket course.
Oh, wow.
I'm going to give you so much information so fast, so intensely, you're just going to go, oh my gosh, there's no way I can do this without you. I would rather teach until somebody's mind goes, I love the mind blow. And I just keep going until I get at least one in an event. Because I want them to get to that one thing, not that makes them go, oh no, my head hurts, I can't think anymore, but oh my gosh, that just destroyed everything that was holding me back from realizing what's possible. That's where you need to teach to. That's the point you need to get them to, is to where they understand that there is a limit out there that's possible. Instead of seeing a limit that says this is as far as you can go. My limit, we all have limits, okay? You know, we like to watch movies like Limitless and Take Your Brain Drugs and all this stupid stuff, but we all have limits. And our limits are nothing more than as far as I see what is possible for me.
Wow. I think that's possibly actually a really good segue into the second question that I had.
Okay.
Because I think when people think, okay, I teach on one thing, but I don't want to give it all away, because then what am I going to give in my course or my next offer? I've
Okay.
seen that so many times, you know?
Okay, that's an easy one. That's an easy one. I actually teach this in my big 4 hour event. But it's a simple principle that a lot of people don't understand, and because of that, they leave them a lot of money on the table. Because if I show up for something and I feel like you only gave me half what I needed, I'm not going to trust you by giving you more money, because I'm going to feel like what you give me is going to be incomplete. Okay? And the way to bypass this is teach everything. Go deep. Teach everything, but teach one thing.
Okay.
Teach one thing all the way. And then say, and you know what? Go apply it. This is going to get you your result. I've done through this. I've seen the result. And because of that, I know that when you learn how to get the traffic in the way that I teach you, example, when you do this, you're going to have so much traffic, there's no way that you're actually going to be able to keep up with conversations. And that's actually why step 2 in the program that we do is teaching you how to manage all of that incoming traffic without losing people in the funnel. But you don't need to worry about that until you implement what we've taught you. This will solve the problem. Go deep. If you have any questions, ask me about it. But don't worry. When it feels really overwhelming, it's okay. Reach back out to us. We'll help you move forward. Right? So it's not about solving all of their problems, and it's not about holding back. It's about giving them absolutely everything that they need to get to the end of that next step. Okay? And the reason that you can do this and not have to worry about, well, what do I offer in the next thing? It's really quite simple. And this is what I share with people, is people are going to remember about 10% of what you tell them. Well, they're going to remember more than that. They're going to believe about 10% of what you tell them. They'll remember and believe about 70 to 90% of what they say. Right? So although you can tell them absolutely everything, you can guarantee they're not going to remember everything that you said. And
Right.
that of what you said, they're not going to believe the majority of it, because they're only seeing it through the lens of what they already know. So they're going to apply what they do know, understand, and accept as true, start to make progress forward, and then reach out because there's still something missing. Not because you didn't give it to them and they never felt like you held back from them, but because they missed something that you were teaching. And then they're going to reach back out to you. And you know what? There's your golden opportunity. You can serve them again and build that trust, build that connection. Or you can offer them your next masterclass. I've seen people say, hey, if you missed it, man, come back on in. I'll give you half off next time through, because I know you already went through it once. You missed half of it, I'll charge you half price to come through a second time. Well, can't you just tell me because I paid for it? Well, no, now you're taking up my time again. You should have paid attention. I'm giving you a 50% discount, pick up the rest. I got an idea, pay 50%, pay attention, take some notes. Believe me this time. You know, it's going to make them go, yeah, okay. And I guarantee they're going to be hanging on the end of the seat the next time they go through. Another option is just say, hey, if you want some one-on-one help, or you want to jump into our group coaching program, or you want to jump into our monthly mastermind, or you just say, hey, yeah, you know, I outlined that thing that you're missing. I actually got that outlined in a video over on YouTube. Here's the link. Just serve them. They're going to have gratitude. They're going to appreciate you. They're going to talk about you to their friends. And I know this for a fact, because they do it.
I was going to say, you're really hitting on the aspect of service. And how do I want to say this? That's another like kind of buzzword I'm seeing out there a lot. Oh, I'm here to serve. I'm here to this. I'm here to that. But what I'm seeing is contingencies. Like, I'll serve when, I'll serve if. What I've experienced with you, there is no when, there is no if. But I think sometimes even I can be subconsciously, I've seen all of this stuff, so I tend to fall into like that, contingency mindset, whether I'm conscious of it or not.
Well, see, even with me, there is a when and an if. So you don't see it. And the reason is because you become used to the when, and used to the if. The
Okay.
when is always right now, and the if is if you pay attention. See, and those are two really big ifs, right?
Yep.
Which means that gives me huge leeway. Do you know what 50% of the 50% is, right?
Yeah.
Okay, what is it?
50% of the 50% winds up a quarter of the whole, right?
Yeah, a quarter of a whole. It's a 25% chance that if you show up, you're going to get a result. But here's the worst part. It's actually 50% of 50% of 50%. Because if you show up, and if you pay attention, and if you believe it, oh wait, it's 50% of that, because then there's the if you apply it.
Ah.
So all of a sudden, I show up, I give you 100%, I show up everything, and you show up, you believe it, you decide to, you listen, you pay attention. Sorry, let's try that again. You show up, you pay attention, you believe it, and you implement it. Still comes down to a chance that there's only going to be about 12.5% of the people that wanted to come to the masterclass will get anything out of it.
Wow.
Because at each one of those points, there's a decision that you have to make. Which means I can show up 100%, give 100% of what I have, pour everything out on the table, and I know there is a chance that only 12% of the people that even registered are going to get any benefit whatsoever.
Wow.
And none of it has anything to do with me or how I show up. What if we throw one more if in there?
What?
What if I don't show up 100%? What if I show up tired and just kind of like go halfway? I give 50%. I show up, I present the information, but I just teach. My 12% just dropped to 0.
Wow.
Because nobody's going to be engaged. Nobody's going to care. And nobody's going to believe me. And everybody will have wasted their time. And the problem is now they're going to go out and they're going to tell everybody how crappy that masterclass was. When you show up, I don't care if you're exhausted. I don't care if you got 2 broken ribs, a stretched out ligament in your knee, and have slept 7 hours the entire week. You show up 100%. You give them everything that you've got. You lay it on the table. You make sure that you bring up the energy in the room. It is not your audience's responsibility to raise the energy for you. You are the instructor. You bring the energy. You are responsible for carrying the entire room. It's not their responsibility to get everything going so that you feel pumped. No, you get pumped and you do the work. And if you don't like it, you can stick it in your ear. Because it's the truth. That's what presentation's all about. I know, I've been from the stage for 20-some years. You got to show up and bring the energy. We create the energy. We don't have it. And that's one of the things I love. Brendan Burchard told me that, years and years ago. He says, like a power plant. Power plants don't have energy. Power plants create energy. We are mini power plants.
Wow.
The miracle of the human body, our body creates enough electricity in a single day to run a small city. Yeah! Crazy, right? Do this. Do this. That takes electricity.
Really?
Those are electrical impulses carrying the signal, which makes your muscles move. And guess what? All of those signals are controlled by electrical impulses in the brain, which tell the nerves to tell the muscles to move. Why do you think it is when somebody gets hit with a taser, they go and squeal like a pig? Because it's too much electrical impulse on those muscles and it causes them to contract. Everything that we do, when I talk, I swear, if I was being charged for electricity I use just by my tongue alone, we could save thousands every month. Just cut my tongue out. Right? just cut it out. Can't use it no more. Cut it out. You can't use it anymore, Chad. It's too expensive. Luckily, my tongue makes us money.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
Right? Luckily, I don't have to risk that. I already took my teeth. Uh, so the reality is when we show up, we got to show up 100%. There is no 110%. I don't know who came up with this. I'm going to show up 110%. What are you going to... Okay, oh, I get it. It's a 2-day class. You're going to show up 100%, and then tomorrow you're going to show up at about 10%. Is that what you're telling me? That's what 110% is. It means I'm going to start strong and finish dragging my butt. Because I'm going from 100 to a 10. No, 100% is give it everything you got. Okay? Everything that you've got is 100%. Today, it may be 100 on the energy meter. Tomorrow, it might be a 10. But if all you got is a 10, it's 100% when you give it. Wow. Give them everything you've got. You know why? Because they've given you the most precious commodity they have. Honor it. Honor it. They've given you their time. They've given you their trust. They've given you their ear. And they've given you the right to mold and impact their life and the lives of everyone that they love and care about. And they have entrusted you with that. Honor it. Give them 100%. And you're like, oh, come on, Chad. I'm a dog trainer. Yeah. So you have the ability to impact a life of somebody who actually cares about an animal more than they do their own family members in many cases. How do you think that's going to affect them? Everybody that you talk to is going to impact millions of people through the ripple. Honor it. Give them 100%. Don't hold back anything. The best of everything you give, a fraction is going to make it through. So if you know there's only an eighth that's going to make it through, ask yourself. They've given you the most precious thing that they have in access to the most impactful area that they possess. Are you going to give them an eighth of 100%? Are you going to give them an eighth of 50%? You know, if you look at it and you say, you know, chances are 12% is going to make it through. 12% of what?
Well, that's everything. A good point. So I would want to be at 100% the whole time.
That's
so
right.
that whatever goes through.
12% of everything. Because that's the maximum you can give them. And you know what? Every once in a while, you're going to have somebody who shows up, pays attention, believes you, believes in you, does what you tell them, implements it, right, in their life, implements it correctly, and then comes back to you and says, hey, I did everything that you said. This is the result I got. It's not what I was expecting, but it's a whole lot better than that I had. Could you help me take it to the next step? Your 12% just turned into 100% for one person who's going to reach 1 million. Was it worth showing up 100%? Or going, well, I got to hold something back so hopefully I can sell them the next program. You give them 100% and you give them the belief in what it is that you do for them. They're going to implement it and they're going to come to you for the next program. You're not going to have to sell it to them. They're going to say, what else do you have? Because you've done it right. The mechanics are even simpler. You got to know, why do you do what you do? And here's the kicker. You don't have to explain why you're the expert. Tell them why you do what you do. And they'll believe you if your why is strong enough. Right?
Yeah.
So like, I could say, I teach people how to use affiliate marketing and email marketing together to create a sustainable, recurring income online so that even when things break down in other areas of their life, they're not resourceless. And you'd be like, okay. or I can tell you why I do it. Right? One's going to be okay. But then I want you guys to just think for a second, and I'm going to tell you why we did what we did. Right? So, about 2 years ago, the entire world changed. It got flipped upside down all over the world. People lost their jobs. They were losing their homes. There were people losing their families due to divorce because of the strain that was brought on by the financial difficulties or the beliefs about everything that was going on in the world. People's lives are getting turned upside down. And what I saw most is some people were making a killing during this time. And I don't use that term lightly, because although they were profiting, they were destroying families. Because they started doing these massive promises that they knew weren't going to be fulfilled. But they promised big. They had little fulfillment. But a few people took it and ran with it. A few people out of thousands made it work. So it proves it does work. Of course, yeah, if you promise really big, people are going to give you money. Right? But the problem was there were so many people struggling and striving. People were ending up $2,000 to $30,000 in debt to programs that just weren't delivering on the promises that were made on the front end. Because the marketing wasn't true. People weren't even marketing their results. They were marketing copies of what other people supposedly were getting. Well, if you can't say these are the results that I'm getting, then you probably shouldn't be promoting it. Right? We're like, well, what if I don't have results? Then get some by starting with integrity. Say, this is what the opportunity and the potential is that I see. I'm just starting and I'm inviting you to come along. There's a way of full integrity being able to do that. And you know what? When you do that, people will actually want to join you or at least support you on your journey. And then when you achieve success, guess who they're going to turn to? The person that they just watched make it happen. Right? But what I saw is a lot of people ending up destitute. They were losing everything that they had. And I says, you know what? I've been doing this online game a long time. I can take these people who have no more resources. They have no more money to invest. They can't afford a coach. They can't afford a $20 subscription somewhere for a service. I can show them how to put together an entire system to where they can at least begin to start earning a little additional secondary income to help augment where they are. And I can show them how to do it completely free for people who have no skills, who have nothing, who are starting at the bottom rung, who don't even have the ability to get in a low entry program in hopes to make it work. I said, I can create something for them because I cannot sit back and watch all of these people suffer and then blame people who are internet marketers. Internet marketing is not the problem. It's bad marketing and disgenuine or deceitful, defrauding individuals who are doing anything they can to make people part with their money so that they can live a lap of luxury while other people are losing their homes. And it doesn't bother them at all. And they go, well, you know, all they'd have to do is just join my program and do what I do. Well, the reality is they can't do what you do because it's your program and they're affiliates. How do we fix this? We create an entire system, bring them on as an affiliate, and when they start earning a little bit of money, we turn around and we give them the program. That's how we fix it. We don't sit at the top going, we're going to reap off everybody else. We just say, here, take the program. It's yours. We'll still do the deliverable, but we'll just put you in our driver's seat. That's how you do things like that. Why? Because people need help. That's why we put this together. That's why we do what we do. I'm sorry, that was a little long-winded. Yeah, we teach people how to use, affiliate marketing and email marketing to create, residual income. You tell me, which one made you want to actually figure out what is it exactly is he talking about? Like, what are they doing? Like, what? I'm not even concerned about, do I trust why he's doing this? This is a person who generally seems to want to help people.
Like, you feel it, I have to say.
Yes.
Like, when you were talking about the feeling you were having as people were profiting off of the misfortune of others in this economic environment, how do I start words? Being a day, sorry. But when I could feel, and I'm sure anyone and everyone watching felt and was pulled into the narrative you're giving, like that's I would well I would follow you anywhere with that because I trust you.
Right, because they understand the why. And if they understand that the why is that passionate, they're not even going to question whether or not you're actually going to do it, because to not do it would actually be me taking on the same position of the people that I'm hating right now.
Okay.
So the trust isn't even necessarily that I'm some genius or I'm some guru. They trust me to do it because they know why it's so dang important for me to help them succeed. That's why it's important for them to understand, why do you do? And guess what? It doesn't take long. It takes 4 or 5 minutes to share your story. Not your story of, I was broken, destitute, and homeless, and I used to wake up and people were peeing on the ground next to my head. But that's okay, because I went through a divorce and lost my whole family, ended up using drugs and going to prison. But that's okay. You can be a rich rock star like me. That is so old. Why is it every single person who claims success has been divorced, homeless, disowned by their family, a drug user, a drunk, and of course has gone to prison and came back out? You know, got in trouble with the law. It's like, why the long sobs? Do I really give a rat's butt whether or not you made a bunch of stupid choices in your life? No. What I want to know is, can you help me make the right ones? And guess what? No amount of bad choices qualify you to make the right choice. We all have the ability to make the right choice if we're given the right information. So instead of telling me why I should lean on you, why don't you just give me the right information and I will make the right choice? So much simpler.
Okay.
And I hate to break it to y'all, I went through almost every single one of those things. And you will never see it in my sales videos. You will never see it in my sales presentations. I mean, for the most part, because I really just don't do sales stuff anymore. But, you know, there's a better way. But the reality is, if you just show up and you serve people and you help them get there, they're going to trust you. They just got to know why. People question all, they're like, I'm just kind of lost with what this whole thing is that you guys do. Because, like, where do you profit in this? And you don't. That's a big hiccup for a lot of people.
Yeah.
Like, who on earth does something just to help somebody? We do.
Well, I guess I should raise my hand there too.
Yeah, at least I know your reason and motive. You self-centered, self-seeking, wonderful person, you. No.
No,
I love it. That's one thing I love about her, is she's just always so intent to listen. But y'all, pay attention. Pay attention to where she's at. She's my business partner. She knows I love her when I say this, but when we first met, she was a complete freaking ignorant newbie who knew nothing about nothing. But because of how she shows up, even today as my business partner, when I'm sharing, she's just... You know why? Because she's used to me giving 100%, and when she realized that I'm giving 100%, she realized she gets a better result when she pays attention 100%. And then she goes and she screws it up as fast as possible so that we can learn how to do it a little bit better. Okay? And that she learned from me. I apply quick. Change, pivot, pivot. Just always move. Okay? Like, take action on it. It's better to fail 100 times and find success than to fail once a year for 100 years, only to find success at an age in which you can never enjoy it.
Yeah.
I would rather spend the rest of my life enjoying my success with scars in my spirit and my emotions from head to toe, and enjoy the rest of my life because of the hardship I went through by making mistakes and failing fast. Fail fast, fail forward, and you'll find success much faster. Well, I'm not good at doing master classes. Good, go do them. Fastest way to learn. Ever seen anybody learn how to ride a bike without getting on a bike? Doesn't happen. No. Even if you do a mock-up bike, okay, they're not learning how to ride a bike, they're learning how to pedal. But they're not learning how to balance. You got to take the wheels off before they learn. Your, training wheels. So
That'd be awkward otherwise.
This isn't going very fast, Dad. Just shut up and balance, son. You'll be okay. So when you're doing this in life, pay attention to what the people are teaching you, but more importantly, think about the fact that these people are relying on your every word. Somebody is going to hang on every single word you say. Every single one. Maybe it will be the day that you do it live. Maybe it will be the day 15 years later somebody digs it up on YouTube and it changes their life. And they share it with one person who goes on to be a public influencer who changes a nation because of one nugget you dropped that day 15 years ago.
That just gave me chills.
Because there are philosophers out there. There are leaders. There are kings. There are servants and slaves. Hundreds of years ago they passed away. Yet their one sentence still changes lives today. Because they meant it with 100% of who they were and they held nothing back when they spoke. That's how you got to do your masterclass. But first they got to believe the reason behind why you do it. Do you know the fastest way to have someone believe why you do something?
No.
This is something that'll blow most people's minds because it's just not seen that often in the marketplace. What do you think the fastest way to make sure that people believe the why behind what you do?
I'd say to show it.
Tell them the truth. Tell them the truth.
Well, what do you look for to tell someone?
See. Okay, so like I may tell you the truth of why I do it, and there's somebody watching this video. There's somebody watching this video goes, yeah, right, whatever. They're doing this for self-gain. You know what? Doesn't matter. They're not your audience. In my opinion, they're an idiot. Because only an idiot would choose to believe that there's not good in the world. I mean, they're here. We're 47 minutes into a training. How much y'all pay to be here? You know what I said about broken ribs, 7 hours of sleep, and a bad knee? That's me right now. And I'm here for you. For free. That's my point. Like, I don't care if you believe me, but there is never any reason for you to not believe me because I'll just tell you the truth. And if you choose to not accept the truth, that's your loss, not mine. Because if you're not willing to accept the truth of why I'm here, then you won't accept the truth of what actually works for the rest of the masterclass. Right? So that's not my audience. I'm not worried about it. Have a good day. Have a nice walk. Go click and watch something else. I don't care. I can't serve somebody who doesn't want to be served. The second step, the mechanics. What's the process? What's the process? I mean, you're telling me this is why you do it, but how do I get that result? Okay, that's going to be the biggest thing is like, how do I get the result? Okay, so as an example, smart people will pay it. Smart people will have made it this far. I'm just going to say that, right? If you're still here, you're one of the smart ones because I'm going to drop something fun for you. So as an example, how do we get in front of thousands of people without seeking out thousands of people who are interested in what you have?
I don't think I know the answer to this.
Yes, you do.
It's
simple,
escaping.
folks. It's simple. Find somebody who knows thousands of people who need what you have, and go strike a deal with them. Do something simple. Here's the mechanics on how to set it up really, really fast, real easy. You should be happy to drop $100 in my mailbox sometime if you apply what I'm about to tell you here, because it works time and time and time and time again. I know, I built my entire business upon this simple principle. Krista's got 1,000 people that have a need for what I teach. She doesn't teach the solution to that problem. We both teach the same audience, the same type of people, but she teaches something that augments what I do, and I teach something that augments what she does, but we don't compete with each other. I'm not going to walk in front of her audience and have her audience walk away from her to come to me. I'm going to walk in front of her audience, and they're going to be like, oh, cool, hey, say thanks for that. Krista, thank you so much for bringing Chad in. So I'm going to say, hey, Krista, I notice you really deal with people a lot about confidence in their speaking and showing up online. One of the things that I do really well is teach people how to project that confidence through their tone and tempo in their speaking. I teach how speaking is actually a musical art form. And then I show them how to utilize that to entrance their audience so their audience can get the best result from every time they speak. I was wondering if you'd be interested if I come in and I do a training for your audience. You could bring me in. Normally I charge $97 for my class, but I'd be happy to drop that down like 50% just for your audience because you're bringing me in. And would it be okay if I just gave you 100% of the ticket sales right on the front end? So if they pay me, I'll just, right before the event, we'll just shoot it right over into your PayPal account. Would that be cool? Hey, guess what, guys? I don't have to go find 1,000 people. I found one. I gave them a huge win in which their audience has a huge win, which positions her as a value bringer. And I get to put my expertise in front of 1,000 people. And guess what? Everybody's going, well, how are you supposed to make any money like that? I just told you. When you serve and you give them a result, they will trust you to help them get the next one. And then you only help that audience with things that Krista doesn't teach. If you've got a conflicting offer, don't offer it. If they say, hey, man, I just love the way that you presented, Chad. That was amazing. I know Krista's got a course on, having confident messaging, with people. And I noticed you have one too, but I just love the way you teach. Be like, that's awesome, man. I really appreciate that. But you know what? As part of Krista's audience, I encourage you, go back there and take her. She does a great job at what she does. If she sends me a message and says she wants me to go ahead and take you on as a client in that, I'll be happy to do so. But we have an agreement that we don't do a cross-compete on programs. So definitely go get that from her. And you know what? That person is going to trust you even more because of the integrity with which you operate your business. They're like, dude, I've been over at Krista's audience this whole time. This guy comes in, does amazing training. I go up to him and says, I want to get this training from you. And he says, no, I can't do that. In all integrity in my business, you're her client in that area, and that's what she teaches. She worked hard to serve you. So go talk to her if you really feel that you'd benefit more from me, and you tell her that, she'll probably say, hey, then go get it from him because she cares about you. And you know what? When I treat people like that, it gets back to the audience leader, and they ask you to come back again and again and again. But now you're already familiar with the audience. The next time you go, hey, you want to do a co-training? We'll just split it 50-50. And they're like, heck yeah. Why? Because they just made a killing on a class that you did last time. Least they could do is split it with you, right? So when you do this, there's a ton of different ways to get in front of other audiences. So the mechanics says this is how you do it. Like I just showed you, how do you get in front of people? This is how you approach someone. This is what you say to them. This is how you present, and this is how you deal with the follow-up. And when you do it that way, you will build solid relationships in your market niche with other leaders. You'll start to create a network of people who love you and trust you, who have huge audiences, and they want you to come talk to their audience. He was like, oh, people are protective of their audience. Yeah, you know why? because you walked in figuring out how can I get something from them. But when they realize you're somebody who always shows up and they always benefit more than you do, they love having you come back because there's no risk to have you there.
Right.
So what's the next thing that happens? I told you how to do that, Krista, right?
Yep.
Just now, I told you how to do that. Do you believe you can walk right out and do that? See? Did y'all see it right there? There's an internal objection. So the next portion of your masterclass is real simple. Hey, I just walked you through the entire process, how to go about doing it, how to handle it, how to handle everything afterwards and follow through. But I know many of you are like I was. You said, I've never done that before. I don't even know how to approach somebody like that. And that's okay. I've got a document over here, yada yada, a video that will actually walk you through an entire conversation with 3 different people so that you can see exactly how I navigate that. And then it's all about just failing forward. You just got to do it consistently. I fell so many times. I heard so many no's. And then I started realizing the no's got less and less and the yes became more and more until the yeses ended up where I was getting pleases from people I hadn't even talked to yet. People started reaching out to me and asking because the word got around that I brought immense value and other people made money when I showed up.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. They start telling everybody else, like, dude, I had him come over and do this masterclass. He did the masterclass. We charged my audience for it. I kept all the money. He did it for free. Everybody benefited except him. And he thanked us. It was awesome. Why? Because it's not about a short game. It's about developing connection with people so that we can all benefit together. And by all, I mean you, the influencer, and the audience. It should always be a win-win-win. And if you do the win-win-win, everybody wins. Everybody wins. But always make sure that everybody else benefits more than you.
That struck me kind of funny the first time you said that.
Yeah. The reason it's a win is because everybody else benefits more than you. That's the fourth win. The win is when they get more than you do. And it may sound negative to you, but think about it this way. If you always get 60% and I get 40%, sounds like it's a bad deal for me. Right?
Kinda, yeah.
So let's just say an event like that earns $1,000. You get 600 and I make 400. That doesn't sound like a really good deal on a value exchange, right? Here's the difference. I can only do that event with you once, but I can do it with 400 other people. Which means that same approach can make me $16,000. And you made 600. Okay? But you got the better deal out of that event. And we both struck a connection to where we are now in the same network. And then it gets really powerful when you teach other people what it is that you just did. And they're like, dude, I don't even feel bad that you did that whole thing for this purpose so that we could do a co-training together. I've got somebody else who would really benefit from what you do. Could you show me how to do that with them? Absolutely. And you show them how. Why? Because it's not some trade secret, bro. If it was, I wouldn't be sitting here teaching the people who decided to hold on for that full 49 minutes to start with. Right? So you deal with the internal objection by saying, hey, you know what? This is what I was feeling when I first started. I know you're probably dealing with the same thing. Now, we all know the hardest thing is we're going to be addressing the big elephant in the room. Nobody's going to want us to come in front of their audience because they're afraid of losing money. It's simple. Then you position your offer to where they make the money and you don't. That's it. It deals with the objection. So really, if that's something that you want to learn how to do, if it's you want to learn how to be able to implement a masterclass more effectively, then I suggest all you got to do is just put a comment down below or actually reach out to us directly. Look me up, chadnedland.com. You'll find me. chadnedland@yahoo.com. You'll find me. Shoot us a message and we'll definitely have a conversation about what that looks like. Now, was I making an offer? No, I was showing you the last step. Just tell them the next step. What's the next thing that they can do to implement immediately and start getting a result? Why do you do what you do? What's the process? That's where you do the teaching. What is the process? How do you deal with the internal objection that's going to keep them from implementing the process? How do you deal with the external objections that's going to keep them from implementing the process? And what is the next step that they have to take to get started? And then you end the class. That's it. And maybe it's like, so you know what? Today, if you want to get those results, what I want you to do is just go home, take out a pen and a piece of paper, and I want you to write down 10 people that you think you could serve their audience today. That's the next step. We're like, thank you guys so much for showing up today. If you have any questions or anything else, feel free to reach out to me, and I'll do my best to serve you in any way that I can. Thank you guys for being here. I love you. I appreciate you. Remember, there's goodness and greatness in each one of you. Now go share that greatness with the world today. And you're done. It's that simple. If you want to add in a bonus and do a Q&A at the end, you can. I love doing Q&A. I'll do a 4-hour event and make it last 7 hours. I don't care. Why? Because I love to serve. You know why? Because serving people for free will make you a lot of money. It's just that simple. And it's not about the money. It's the fact that when you serve them like that, they want you to help them take it to the next step once they apply what it is that you teach them. Does that answer your question?
I guess, which one? I had so many.
Okay. Well, I've got time. They'll leave when they're done, and then they'll come back and watch the rest if they gotta go. What's the question? We're here to talk about masterclasses. We don't want to hold anything back, so if you got a question, let her rip.
So I guess for people who might be anxious about the idea of doing their own masterclass, let's say, would you recommend doing a co-masterclass as the first one, or do you have any tips?
Okay. Would I recommend a co-masterclass? See, this is gonna be funny when y'all look at Krista's face. No. I do not recommend a co-masterclass. Because the chances are that the person that you're going to co-masterclass with doesn't know how to do a masterclass. They're going to try and do a webinar. They're going to try and do a sales pitch. They're going to try and make offers. They're going to try and convince the audience that they need them. And it's going to destroy the whole point of the masterclass. My recommendation is watch this video a couple times, especially the last 15 minutes, where we talk about the mechanics aspect, and write it out. This is not a script. This is a framework. Write it out. Like, what are these steps? Why do I do what it is that I do? And once you have that answer, and it's nice and it's tight and it's, really, really focused, then ask yourself, but why do I want that? And then rewrite it. And when you get that answer, ask yourself, why do I want that? Why is that the reason? Why is that important to me? You do that a few times, and you're going to find out that your answer changes, and you start getting emotionally involved in your own answer.
Now let me ask, is that good or bad?
That's a good thing. It's a very good thing.
Well, I know so many people are like, no, you need to cut the emotion. And I've recently learned that's not necessarily true.
No. Why would you cut the emotion? Because emotional is the driver for the decisions that we make, and we're there to help them make decisions to better their future.
That makes sense.
Now, I wrote this down the other day, but people will join you wherever you are. The question is, are you willing to go where they need to be to make their best decision for their future? If they have to dial in and really get to the root of why this is important, wouldn't it behoove you, wouldn't it benefit you and them to go as real, as raw, as deep as you possibly can, so that they can connect with a real, valid reason for them to take the next step and to move forward with you? Yeah. Like, why do I want to continue to be a good singer? To get better at singing. Take care of my voice? Yeah. Entertain people? Sure. Worship God? Uh-huh. But it goes deeper. And you know this, I've shared this with you.
Yeah.
I want to become a better singer, and it carries on so deep, is that I want to teach my children the power of their voice has the impact to build and change a nation, but not so that my lives of my children are better, but so that the lives of the generations that follow my children will carry on that legacy, knowing that they have a voice, and that voice has the power to change, to build emotion, to change hearts, to change lives, beliefs, because the power of a voice can do that. And I want to equip my children to teach future generations so that the legacy continues far after my children are gone. That's why I want to do it. And I had to get real with that this week. I had to think about that. Next thing you know, we got an old fat man with broken ribs and a bad knee dancing around the living room with his toddler, singing songs, shooting a video, and putting it up online in the morning. Belting it out. I didn't care what I sounded like. I just wanted my kids to know you could sing free and let her rip.
Wow. As of this recording, I have yet to see that video.
I said I put it up. I didn't say I told everybody I put it up. But, you know, just little things like that. You don't want to let things go simply because you didn't believe you could. You got to know the why. You got to have the emotion behind why you do it. Why? Because that time you fall off the roof shoveling snow and bust yourself up, you got to have a why that's bigger than the pain you have. When you got an office upstairs and you can barely climb up the stairs, you got to have a why big enough to drag your butt up the stairs and get to work in the office. When you're so tired, you feel like all you literally want to do is just go lay down on the hardwood floor and take a nap. Your why is bigger than you're tired. You got to make sure that when you don't want to move, you don't want to talk, you're exhausted, you show up full energy, move in the room, because that's your job, not theirs. And you go as long as it takes. How many words are needed in an effective email? Many as it takes, but never an extra one. What's the perfect length of copy in a sales page? As long as it has to be to get the results. Not a single word more. How long do we have to teach this class today?
As long
as it takes.
Not a second more.
That's right. You got to make sure that you give them 100%. And just shut up. Right? We're going to do something a little bit goofy on the end of this. And I say goofy because even Krista doesn't even know about it. Why? Because I just decided to do it. So... so there's that. And because of that, when you're willing to actually put your emotion in it, when you're willing to say there's a bigger why than what I feel right now, you'll realize that you start to do things that maybe you wouldn't normally do, simply because you love people enough to do it. And that's what's important, is to realize that driving force behind what you do. If it's not loving the people that you're serving the wrong people, or you shouldn't be serving, period. Now, is that a hard and fast business rule? Not in the world, but yes. It's not common. It's not accepted. I mean, I read this to somebody. Actually, I read this to Krista literally right before we started this. I said, you're going to laugh at this message, but this is what the world is getting so used to. I'm going to hop over. I'm going to look at the other screen. I'm going to read this to you, and you'll see the difference between whether or not somebody is loving me. Answer yourself this. Does this person love me? Do they care about me as an individual? Okay? And I'm going to read this exchange. And pull it up. I'm still here. You still see me, Krista?
Yep, still here.
Okay. So this is what I'm going to share. It says, "Hey Chad, pleasure to connect with you. If you don't mind me asking, what made you add me?" My response: "I was looking to hear a little bit more about the results that you're getting in your affiliate marketing efforts in your current business." "Hey, that's cool. What do you find most difficult in your online business?" If you walked up to somebody and you asked them a very direct question and said, "This is the reason that I'm approaching you because I have an interest in this here," and they turn around and says, "Well, that's cool. So, how's your car running today?" I'm like, you asked why I connected with you. I connected with you because I'm interested in the results that you're getting with your business model. "Well, what problems are you having?" Dude, I make a ton more than you do and I work far less. I'm not having any problems in my business. I'm wondering what kind of results you're getting in yours. It's a new model. I'd like to talk to you, see what that looks like. Like everybody thinks that you're supposed to be selling to everybody all the time. Whatever happened to just talking to people and caring about them? Right? Like literally being concerned, like, oh, hey, maybe this guy is interested. Maybe I can help them. But the reality is he specifically told me this is what he's here for. He wasn't even listening to my response. He was just waiting to find out if he can sell me something. That's not caring about people. And you know what? I haven't even decided if I'm going to answer him or just block him. And he may be a great person. He may be a wonderful man with high integrity, a huge heart, and a crappy approach. But you know what? I just don't have time for crappy. I just don't have time for it. Because there's too many people that I can go love on and help them change their life for the better. What he doesn't know is there's a good chance we could hop on a call and like almost every other single person that I talk to, he will walk away with his mind blown and an actionable step to make his business more effective. And he will never know because he peed in my Cheerios. Just by not listening. Dude, you asked me a question, I gave you an answer, and then you disregarded my answer. Because what you had to say was more important. If what you have to say is more important than me, then you have no value in my space. Because I value other people. You asked, I gave. Listen. That's the approach that we need to have with people is, are we loving them in our communication? Are we putting them first? Are we not being self-seeking, but are we looking to benefit other people, to advance other people, to care for them, to be patient with them? Which is why I haven't blocked him yet. I'm still working on the patience aspect right now. Because that just irritated the daylights out of me. Might be because I'm overtired right now. But because of that, I know that, I recognize that, and I'm patiently thinking about how I'm going to respond. Because there's a lot of words that pop into my mind that I'd love to have pop out the end of my fingers. Type that up, send it up his way. Hopefully it'll wake him up to, hey, have a clue, dude. This is why you're not making the sales you could be. But he never reached out. He didn't even reach out when he asked me the question. He was just trying to figure out, is there an in to pitch? Are you loving the people that you serve? If you don't genuinely love the people that you serve, you're serving the wrong audience or you shouldn't be serving at all. I want to say it again and again and again and again and again. Love your audience more than you love yourself, and you'll find that your audience will support you more than you ever could on your own. Yes, there's a quotable for you, Krista. I'm just kidding. I'm just picking.
Love the quotables, just saying.
Yeah, welcome to the quotables today. There's a lot of little nuggets that we drop. So, are there any other questions that you have in that regard?
Well, not in that regard, but I'm wondering what the thing is.
Well, I'm closing out a couple additional tabs at the moment so that I can make sure we pull up the right one. And if you guys have ever seen a really bad compromising video of your business partner, a live feed is actually the perfect time to showcase it for the world to see. So I'm just going to premise what I'm about to do with that statement, and Krista can either jump off or just curl up in a hole and hide herself. I'm okay with either. We're good with that. But we love to have fun in all that we do. We do these pinpoint coachings for our clients with Sleep Pay Profit, and we like to have some fun. So we love to poke fun at each other. She likes to crack jokes. I like to pick her up, throw her under the bus twice a day at least. So today we're going to do that for you guys. And Krista, if you're ready, we're going to go ahead and we're going to do this for them. Okay?
Okay.
You ready? Okay.
No.
Okay, awesome. That's what I love to see. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to share this. And by share this, I mean humiliate my business partner here live in front of the entire world. Because this is what we do when we love one another. We're not self-seeking. We just seek ways to embarrass one another 100%. So here we go. I hope this works. Come on and wade in the water. Wade in the water, children, wade. Oh. Yep. In the water. God's gonna trouble the water. Come on and wade in the water. Wade in the water too. I dropped the resolution here a little bit, see if that gives you better. But look at those little kids dancing. Look at these guys. Look at Joy's right there. Come on and wade in the water. And this is what I mean, is if you know your why, you're not worried about whether somebody else thinks you look funny, sounds bad. I'm a 46-year-old man who's 35 pounds overweight, big old belly, bad knee, belting it out and having a blast with my kids. If you feel this free, you'll invite the people around you to join you. And I say that because getting my wife to sing is hard.
She's good.
I couldn't even. I know she is. She's beautiful. She's amazing. But I couldn't even get her on the camera.
Well, someone had to hold the camera.
But when I just started letting her out and ripping it out, she joined right on in. Because you know what? If you're willing to put yourself out there 100%, you're going to invite other people emotionally to join you where you are. People will join you where you are because you were willing to go there first. Are you that raw? Are you that willing? Do you care enough? And because I live that way, I'm going to push play again. Because I live that way, look at how my children are willing to live in front of the camera for other people. And yes, they know they're on tape. They ask if they can shoot video. They love to display and dance and perform and love people. Because they've seen it done. Y'all want to see the whole thing? All you got to do is comment, go to the channel, check it all out. I'm gonna let it shine, let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Hide it under a bushel. No! I was going a little bit fast for him here, so I had to slow down. Hide it under the bushel. No! I'm gonna let it shine. And they're having a blast, right, y'all? Okay, we got Daniel excited too, so that's cool. And this is what I love, is this is how we should approach the people that we serve. It's just like these two little kids. Good night to everybody. Good night. Okay, night, everybody. Love you.
Oh, I'm crying.
I wanted to share that with you guys, not so that I could display my singing or dancing skills in any way, shape, or form. But I did want you to see one thing. I ain't pretty. I don't have my teeth in. Well, I got my teeth. They're right here. I got my teeth in. I ain't pretty. I was exhausted. I was wiped out. I was in pain. And the only thing that was important for me was to show the people that I was loving that it was possible to have a voice, no matter how you feel, no matter your circumstance, no matter your situation. You have the ability to impact another person's life. That was last night, late at night. And I want to relate to what I said earlier. There are people that will hang on your every word, and you will impact their life. You will connect with them emotionally, and you will change their life. But it may not be when you're speaking. It may be on YouTube sometime later when they catch a replay. My business partner's sitting there crying.
Yep.
That's my proof of what works. You got to put your heart where you want them to be able to go. You got to care enough to not care what they think of you. I heard a speaker one time, and he said something to me that impacted me so deeply. It sits like a scar, but it shines like a beacon inside my heart. He says, I love you so much. I don't care what you think of me. And I had to sit with that for a while. And I said, what do you mean by that? He said, I will tell you what is true, what I believe with every fiber of my being, so boldly, so clearly, in whatever way necessary for you to understand the truth of what I have learned. And I don't care if you ever want to talk to me again, because I love you enough to make sure that you know the truth of what is possible in your life. I thought to myself, that's a good thought. I'm going to take that with me. And it has affected me every single day since. I remind myself, do I care enough about that person to tell it to them even if it hurts? Do I care enough about that person to tell them even if it makes me look foolish? Do I put myself out there willing to fail forward, fall on my face, and bust myself up so that they never have to? And if I don't feel that way, I sit down, shut up, check myself until I do, and then I go out into the public again. Because you got to love the people you serve, and they will take you farther than you ever could have gone on your own. And they'll do it willingly because they feel loved and cared about and welcomed. Are you showing up that way? Because you should be. That's all I got. Never a word more, right?
Right.
So we're going to let Krista go ahead and close us out today.
How am I closing out? Oh, no more words from Chad then. So I guess I'm going to say thank you for watching, everybody. Appreciate you all. And Chad's leaving me. That being said, thank you. I look forward to seeing you next time. You're all amazing. Have a great weekend, evening, whenever you're watching this. See you on the next one.